Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech protected.
I am a prophetess, and a prophetess is one who gets divine inspiration through the Word of God and the risen Christ. This is one of the most serious prophecies that I have given out since I started with the Rhema Word. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture. What's coming has to do with the cleansing on the earth, the purification of America and of the world. I'm here to split the atom of philosophy and religion. Hello there, this is Carolyn Blake Bashaw of the Rhema Word, the spoken word of the risen Christ. Welcome back. It's so good to be talking with you again. I have so many convictions and so many things of interest today, I might even blow your mind. I'll tell you, very, very interesting, and I can't wait to get into it. But first, I'd like to introduce my son, Samuel Colby. He's going to entertain you with a song.
You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies till all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Love has called my name. I've been born again into your family. Your blood flows through my veins. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. Oh, 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 you split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me and I will stand and sing. I am a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I am a child of God.
Welcome back. First, I'd like to explain a little bit about my son. I dedicated him to the Lord when he was born. They wanted me to abort him and his sister both back in the 80s, and I chose not to because I knew I had an awful, awful conscience that was big, and down the road I'd always wonder, what would they be like? How would they turn out? And thank God I didn't follow through what they tried. They had every excuse to try to get me to abort, but I said no. And then after that, Samuel had some medical problems that were very minor, but still he was kept in the hospital for a while and brought him home. And from then on, the enemy tried to kill him every way he could. He had a closed head injury, fell out of a tree, got hit on the top of the head, and broke his growth plate in his leg, and on it went, constantly. Accidents, severe nosebleeds, and then the drug situation where he died a couple of times and he was brought back. And I still stood on the Word, and I still stood on the power of the risen Christ. I have that power. And you have that power as a parent. I'll tell you today, over your children's life, always speak good over them. Always speak good. Don't speak bad, because that's like putting a curse on your child. So anyway, I wanted to bring that out. And Sam is doing wonderfully well, got a good job, and that's why he's not here today, but he'll be back. And so I just want to tell you, he tells me every day, I love you, Mom, and he hugs me. And he calls me up now before he goes to bed. Good night, Mom, I love you. And he's been doing that all his life. And his sister, pretty much the same. The two of them that weren't supposed to make it on this earth, but they made it. His sister's a wonderful teacher. And I'm telling you, if you're considering abortion, don't do it. My mother attempted to abort me with a coat hanger when I was in the womb. She was probably 5 months along, whatever. And you know what? I don't know. I had someone pray with me about it one time, and I had this vision, and I could see myself pulling away from that, pulling and pulling. And even though I was just a little fetus thing, I felt fear. I really felt fear, because you see, once the Spirit's in the child, you can feel everything there is. And so my mother regretted that. She later on regretted it through the years, what she did, And, if you've done this, you've had an abortion, don't let the enemy put guilt on you. Every child will be in heaven that's been aborted, every child. And so I want to let you know that someday, if you follow Jesus, you'll see those children again. You will see them again. And so I just want to say I had to put that plug in for against abortion, rather. Not for, but against abortion. Because look at that. 2 fantastic adults today. Almost said kids. I always call them kids. But anyway, I've really got to get into this. I have so much to share with you. There's a couple of things that have been coming to pass that I have mentioned recently on the program. I turned on the weather today, and they said that this is the hottest summer, second hottest summer in history since I've been taking records. And one of the things I gave was it was going to be a torrid summer. We're not over yet. We're still in summer. And you know what? Things are crazy. Some of the leaves are turning already. We've been getting cold nights. He said to me years ago, no more seasons. There won't be any more seasons in America. So I wanted to share that with you. So what's coming up, what they're predicting now is a number of storms, bad storms coming in. We're going to have a high season for that. But we are going to have more heat, and it's going to be really, really hot, especially this coming week. And the fires out west are bad. And you know what I'm doing? I'm taking my authority over those fires, and I'm commanding the rain to come down on those fires. Let's just sit back and watch, see what God does with that. And so that would be quite a testimony if you call on the rain clouds to come in and put out every fire in America. I did that this week. So I wanted to tell you about that. The other thing was about China. I had spoken a word that the Lord said that the dragon, China, that they would be corrected by him. I don't like to say punished, but corrected by him for what they did with this so-called thing we've got going on now with this virus thing. And so anyway, what I wanted to tell you was that this past week, a hole opened up in the ground and 75 cars fell in it over in China this past week. So keep your eyes on China, okay? Now, I'm going to start with this message. And then, before that, I think I'd better say this first. The 26th of September, I don't want to forget this, in Washington, D.C., there's going to be a Christian prayer time. And the big time evangelists will be there, like Billy Graham's son and others are going to be there. So if you want to go to that, that would be a great thing. It's going to be a big, huge revival-type prayer time. It's going to be really, really good. So I wanted to get that in. 8/12/20. Now, I see a whole new pattern taking place. I see the enemy of your soul, Satan, moving off after the air clears from the 2020 elections. It isn't going to be like this with all this heaviness and all this fear and all this trouble. After the elections, a slowdown in rhetoric. You know what rhetoric is, and you've heard plenty of it. I have. My spirit, he says, shall rise up. A turnover of events coming, he said. The prayers of my people will force evil off your land. Now, that means that when they go in there and they pray and they take their authority over all this stuff, you're going to see a major change in America. September 26th, they're going to do it. Now, so his people are going to get things moving. He says, the nations of the earth shall look to Trump for guidance. He exhibits no fear. You know, they always say, well, what's the difference between Biden and Trump? Trump has no fear of anything. And what I like about him is when somebody or something's coming against him, tax troubles or war troubles or different troubles, he moves on into something different, totally ignores it, and it slides right off his back. That's the difference. He is a man of the hour. He has power. He has the power of the risen Christ. And I know people like to look at your past and your background, and I've had things thrown in my face, and he's had things thrown in his face, and everyone does as a Christian. But there is therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus. None. None at all. The enemy likes to drag you back to the past, but it won't do him any good, because with God, it's the future of where you're going to be someday. Now, he exhibits no fear. He says, when one comes after him, it slides off his back, and he is ready to take on the devil if he so chooses. He is. He wins because he has, guess what? Guess what he's got? I had to go to the dictionary for this. He's got fortitude, great fortitude. Fortitude, strength of mind, allowing a person to withstand pain or adversity courageously. Isn't that something? That is really, really something. So I wanted to share that special word with you because I just received that, and that's recent. I'm left-handed, so I get things. Sometimes I do things backwards, but that's all right. That's okay. There. Now, we'll continue on here. Now, the Lord had mentioned that we have this virus, which he called the utopia, is what they are calling it, the utopia. But first, I'll give you this. This is, let's see, this is 8/17/20, Trump. He will not let up. He will drive Biden under at will. You wait and watch this thing coming up with this Republican thing. You watch it. You will see such a radical opposite thing from Biden. I'm telling you. And believe me, I'm not being political. I'm telling you what the Lord is showing me. Biden under at will, he'll drive him. He will, he says, get the stimulus through. That's coming. He will reward the police and sheriffs. This is after he gets going here. He will fill the courts with new judges, more judges. He will pull the educators together. They won't have this problem with the school system. He will sign the Jewish peace treaty. He will finish the wall. Bring home our troops, 98% of them, home. New deals with Iran and Russia. We're going to have new deals. He's the man of the hour. Major peace accord. He will harness the economy, bring it back. He will take on China face to face, head on, coming up. He will usher in an open path for God's people. The news media will switch over to his side. Can you believe this? This is all coming. He will honor our statesmen. He will get prayer back in schools. The economy will boil over. Houses moving. More houses being built. All the masks that they've been wearing, I saw, were put in a pile and burned up. Oh, and guess who's making all the money from all these masks? The mask makers. They're making it. Yeah, there are people getting rich off this thing that's going on right now. Revival will come in soon. Now, he said, the virus is going to run out of steam. Imagine that. It's all going to go out of steam, and it's going to go, the Lord's going to push it out to sea, because salt water, the fumes from the salt water kills that virus. You're not going to believe that, but that's a God's honest truth, what he told me. And I was at the beach not too long ago up in Maine. I got invited out, and I'll tell you, it was nice to sit there and just breathe in that salt water in my lungs. Breathe it in. And I thought, this is fabulous, you know, and it's all over me. And salt water has healing powers in it. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and drink a bottle of salt water. Don't take it the wrong way. Revival will come in soon. Trump will be swift to clean up the roads, bridges, rivers, and cities, he says, and all over the United States. And then the looters, the troublemakers, are going to be put away. Imagine that? Boy, the iron fist of capitalism will be moving back into America. I like that. Church bells ringing. Congress and Senate will be in line with Trump. What does that tell you? We're going to win some more of them back? Now, down the road, abortion's going to become obsolete. They're going to come up with something new that will take care of the problem. I don't know yet what it is, but it's going to become obsolete. Obsolete. I always say absolute. Obsolete. Many new homes being raised up. God Bless America will ring out over the nation. You know, now you can't really go out and you just can't go out and say things like, I like Trump or I like Biden, or you can't say anything political at all. Or they'll jump on you, they'll break your neck, they'll knock your head off because they're running rampant. The devil's having his day, but not for long, I'll tell you that. Now, we have 8:18:20. Now, I had a problem. It was about 2 days ago. I was in a restaurant, and I went in there, and they're allowed to have you so many feet apart and this and that. All of a sudden, it was like I come under attack, like a smell of something. And I couldn't breathe good, and I thought I was going to pass out right there. I really did. I thought, oh boy, I'm going to pass out. My son was with me. He took me out for dinner, and I said, Sam, I think I'm going to faint. I'm going to fall on the floor. So I prayed quickly, and I saw the girls going around spraying this stuff, and everything. And not only do they spray it once, but every time, someone comes and goes, they spray it again. And the air was filled with those toxic fumes. And I couldn't eat good or anything. And I think it was a combination of things because all I had for breakfast that morning was a cup of coffee. I hadn't had any breakfast. And so what happened was he ate quickly and I didn't eat a lot, and we left. And I get out, and my eyes, they were stinging, and my nose was running, and my ears felt plugged up. And the rest of the day, I didn't feel that great. I did not feel that great. And I've never had problems with allergies before. But I think they're going overboard with some of this stuff. I heard about, washing your hands, that they have some of this stuff that you put on your hands, antibacterial stuff, and people are breaking out. I hear that children, their faces are breaking out from wearing masks, and they're having trouble breathing, some of them, the little kids, 2 years old, with those things over their mouth. And, I was thinking about it. When you have a panic attack, you take a paper bag and you breathe into it. And you keep breathing it, and it takes it away. And you become more docile, what it is. And your brain kind of goes into a different shift. But imagine breathing that all day long, all that, carbon dioxide, whatever it is, and it's going back into your body all day long. People are working. They're going to find out down the road there's a long-term effect from these things. And this doctor, it's funny, Fauci, whatever his name is, I prayed that he'd get off the TV because I just felt what he was saying wasn't all truth. It was not all truth. And he just got out of the hospital, had a lymph node taken off his voice box. So he can't talk for a week, so the Lord took care of that for a while. And I didn't want anything bad to happen to him. I just wanted him to stop telling people, the mask is like a god. You've got to wear that mask or else, And so anyway, that is the way that goes. And I just wanted to warn you about these masks and things. They are not from God. He did not tell you to wear those. Now, the thing of it is, I learned something else the day I wasn't feeling good. If you are dehydrated, this is something else. Listen to this. And I could have been drinking coffee all the time, not drinking water. It said, your balance will cause you to tip over because water in the body controls the balance in your body. Did you know that? Your inner ear and everything. That's the truth. And then he said to me, man was created that way. Even the earth would tip over if you took all the water out of it. Can you believe that? Now, these are things that I never even thought about, So, anyway, He said, call on me and I will come to you. I've never forsaken the seeds of my son. He says, I never will. This is the age of grace. I am with you, my people, always, even unto the ends of the earth. Do not suffer needlessly. You know, a lot of us suffer needlessly. We worry. You know, we can't get thoughts out of our head. We can't sleep. And we get into a panic mode type of thing. I've done that before many times. He said, I am with you always, even unto the ends of the earth. Don't suffer needlessly, you know? And then I was thinking, Lord, I'm so old now. What am I going to do? I'll probably have this wrong and that wrong. He says, age is not in my vocabulary. He says, man measures a man, woman, or child by their weight, height, and age. I do not go there. You are internally, listen to this, your spirit is internally young. Don't forget that. That's why, you know, no matter what age you are, you can feel just as young as a child if you wanna. You know, you can dream. You can even fall in love. And that's a wonderful feeling that I've had in my life once in a while. And you could love your kids, you could love your grandkids. And age doesn't mean a thing when it comes to your spirit. So when we call this one an old man, old woman, you know, or middle-aged, you know. I know someone, she's 39 and she's getting a little nervous about getting up there to 40. I remember my 20s. I didn't know who I was or what I was. I couldn't find myself for the life of me. I was very anxious all the time. I couldn't sleep. I was smoking cigarettes, and I was a mess. My 20s, so nervous, overwrought with being 20s, and then I hit my 30s, and things started to level out. They smoothed out quite a bit, and I felt healthier and stronger, and I felt pretty good in my 30s. Then I hit my 40s, and guess what? I really shouldn't have felt this way because I just had a baby, and then I had another baby in my 40s, but I thought I was old. I began to feel really bad. I am so old. And I noticed that the days were flying by like crazy. You know, my 50s, I started to level out again. And you can imagine what happened after that. You get numb. You just get numb. And so anyway, don't worry about your age. Don't worry about it at all because it has nothing to do with your spirit. Nothing. Okay. Man creates chemicals from products of the raw form in the earth. Then he blames me and said I created them. Isn't that something? Cocaine or whatever it is. His concoctions. Oh, well, God put that here in the earth for us to eat, to drink. You know, it's crazy. He said, but anything with an evil or hurtful outcome is not for me. Humans were created to live an extensive life if they take care of it. You know, I see man exterminating himself, destroying good and following evil. Then depression, anxiety moves in. Suicide gladly follows. You know, we've had so many suicides since this pandemic thing. So many suicides. Young kids even committing suicide because they get depressed. Because on TV, all it is, everything's built around fear. Fear. That's one thing about Trump. He won't get into fear. He said this morning he will not get into fear. And if you get into fear, you can plan on anxiety, depression, and all those things to move in. And then guess what follows? Possibly suicide. I've been there. I wanted to take my life a couple of times, but thank God I didn't. Thank God I didn't. I was a 16-year-old girl when I first did that. Took a bottle of aspirins, took them all that I could swallow, drank some Mercurochrome on top of that, all because They took me away from a boy I was in love with, you know. And then later on in life, many, many years later, when my husband passed away, my high school sweetheart, the same boy that I met 40 years later, he passed away. And I had a hard time handling that. So I can understand. There's such a thin line between life and death, you know. But children taking their lives, oh, come on, that's not good. So we've got to build up our kids. We've got to, grandkids, we've got to love them. You know, the one thing I learned about this pandemic, I learned about myself, is that I need to socialize. I need to have friends. I need to have somebody love me. I need a hug once in a while from somebody. We all need it. We all need attention. We don't need criticism. Criticisms of the devil. We don't need that. We need praise. You know, all my life I was ever told as a child that I was loved. I didn't know what it was. I kept doing things to get attention. I really wanted love. And then I fell in love with my first boyfriend at 14. And I thought that was really true love. And it wasn't really mature love. It was a childlike love. I was searching for love. How many of you out there really want to be loved? You come see me, pandemic or not, I'll hug you. You know, I would, because I know that that's put on us for fear. And God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but love, power, peace, and a sound mind. That's the way it goes, you know. So, we get that. Now he said, the enemy, he likes to get you into deceit, dishonor, and death. But I come to give life and life more abundantly. Wisdom to choose, he said, you have, wisely, is take up the cross and follow my Son. Healing is in my wings. The angels carry healing. Do you know that he's got angels all around us? Devil's got his, too, trying to cause trouble. But he's got angels all around you. Call on me to send angels to, he says, comfort you. They have my power to ward off all demonic activity sent to the souls of my children. Isn't that something? And then we have here, those two I already read. Can't always read my own writing, but anyway, we'll do the best we can. You know, I've had 2 people tell me lately, I need more patience. Well, if you ask for patience, you get tribulation. I don't like tribulation. So, what does he say to me? Patience is a virtue. Guard it well. I got that from the third source. I said, oh no. Now, and then he told me my son would be moving out. This was on August 9th. And last week, he moved out. And he said everything's going to work out for him. And it is working out wonderfully for him. And he told me this, and I will come back and share this with you. I will, down the road. You will never lack for anything again. There is a settlement coming, or something. He told me this a year ago. He says, watch the spillover of the settlement. He said, but anyway, he has told me that he blesses tremendously the people who follow him. You want blessings? I'll tell you. I'd love to write a book on blessings and on obedience and all the good things, peace that passes all understanding, all the good things he gives to you compared to what the devil will give to you. If you don't believe this devil, look around. You'll see him. Now, and then he told me back then that this friend of mine was going to pass on. 24 hours later, he was gone. And 88 years old. But he loved Jesus. and I know where he is. Now, he said, 8:16-20, child, you are not to fear, worry, or entangle with the affairs of this world. Hear that out there? You're not to fear, worry, or entangle yourself with the affairs of this world. I can't watch politics for a long time. It's very depressing at times. I hear so much slander and hatred, bitterness. Well, I didn't make it into the White House and I was supposed to be there. Or he stole this. Or, back 4 years ago, they're still holding hate. He's no good. He's terrible. Or she's no good. And I think to myself, you know what they're doing? They're opening it up the door for the enemy to come in and attack their family, their kids, everything. Because what comes out of your mouth determines what kind of blessings you're going to get. I'll tell you, it really does. I had a man come to my house, 2 men come to my house the other day, and they were big, rugged men. And one of them says, I don't take no lip from nobody. Yes, what's the problem? I said. Well, they came to pick up the car of this 88-year-old man. It had been repossessed because he died. And I said, no problem. I'll get you the keys and everything. And so I went and got the keys, moved my car, and he got out in his car. And I said, I need proof that you're who you are. So he showed me. This big, rugged guy, he takes his glasses off. And his face had a look of softness in it. Big blue eyes, and probably in his 50s. I looked in his eyes. I said, you look tough. I took my hand and I put it right near his chest. I said, but you got a big heart. He said, thank you. And he smiled. He said, you're so nice to me. And he responded with that. And so I told the Lord later, I said, have the Holy Spirit go sick him. Go after him. Get him into the kingdom. I'm telling the Holy Spirit I'm doing a deal here. And these 2 tough guys, they drove off with that car. But that man was not the same. And he don't know it. He don't know it. But he's going to come in the kingdom. He will. He says, don't let shadows of uncertainty take you down, because you, my people, are in my hand. Can you imagine how big God's hand is? He's holding all those people. Holy cow. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. He said, fear and uncertainty are twins. They go hand in hand. But he who is free in me is free indeed. He says, I judge no one according to what the man says. Why must ye crucify yourselves? Did I not release my son, he says, totally on the cross, and he shed tears for you. Did you know that? He actually shed tears. And he says, he knew. You know what Jesus knew when he went on that cross? He knew that, he said, the struggle that it would be for all my people, his people on the earth. He shed tears because he knew that the enemy was going to come after him. Isn't that something? But he never condemned you for it, for your things that you do. Why must you walk alone? He says, you say you walk alone when he is in your heart. He's in your heart. You're not alone. You're not alone, he says. Now, you must realize he sanctified you completely. Let go of self and cling to your master. You are not, he says, you are no longer a victim. You shall receive his love in all you do. I have chosen my children to walk anew. The past is gone forever. The cross is set up. Listen to this. The cross is set up for you to cross over. Cross to my spiritual covering. Once you realize all this to be true and realize there's no more condemnation, Look at the people that died, think they're bad, evil, they got to kill themselves. Not true. There's no condemnation. He said, my son took it all. Do not go back. Do not look there. It's full of darkness, he says. But my spirit is going to come and fill upon the earth very soon. It will visit my people, and I will cover them with a scroll of love and protection. I am preparing a new covenant with them all. He says, as we gather at the river of life, look up now, for the enemy is going to be blasted during your elections. He's going to get hit. You're going to see things change. Isn't that something? Oh, it's going to build up to a climax. There's going to be trouble, trouble, trouble. China's going to open their mouth too. They're going to try to give us more trouble than Iran, and especially China. Watch out for China. But they're coming down. Now, a new covenant is coming. He said, I will blast them right open and defy their curses upon your land. America will rise again to new heights and new open gates to me. Soon the virus, a utopia of control, here we go, will move out. Utopia means a place in where there is socio-political perfection. Listen to this. An impractically goal or scheme for a perfect society. He says, scheme, an underhanded plot. China has the world in a chokehold, brainwashed into thinking you are, by covering your face, protecting yourselves and others from the so-called virus. And he said, you want to know how things are passed? They're not passed the way they're telling you they're passed. Sickness, disease, passed through osmosis. The diffusion of fluid through a semi-permeable membrane as the wall of a living cell. He says, a gradual, often unconscious process of assimilation. You can understand, you gotta be smart to get all this, because I'm not that smart and I don't understand all this, but this thing is not being passed totally, or not even all, through your breath. It goes through the membranes, and it's through the cells of the body, through the fluid stuff. But anyway, I wanted to tell you that. So, this is a big, fat utopia of control. That's what they got us under. And that is a God's honest truth, so help me God. Now, people follow this. Paganism, covering their faces in shame. Now, did my son Jesus ever wear this across his face? No, he did not. You are to follow him. He says, follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men. Come out of the world and be ye separate. But look at the Christians. Going right along, going right along. Oh, well, I got this fear put on me. I'm going to pass this to my mother, my brother, or somebody else. I'm going to hurt somebody. Fear, fear, fear. Get rid of the fear. And I know they're not going to like me saying all this, but it's the God's honest truth. It's all being worked through fear, through that doctor and that other doctor that's on there, that woman. Now, you have been misled by the Orient. My holy word does not tell you to follow China. China's the one that told this country to wear those things. The fear put upon America, he says, and the world, should be driven out by my people. But they have adhered to it and accepted it. But it's going to change. Fear comes from the kingdom of hell. I say rebuke the fear. Cover yourselves with faith. You'd be better off to do that. He said, then it will move off and out. My people must follow the light and not darkness, or else darkness will follow you. You must eat of my written word more. Read it more. For faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. And that is my word for today. I just want to tell you all out there, if you want to know and understand more about it, I have some more here, but I'm running out of time. But if you want to understand more about it, I would suggest that you get a copy of the tape and listen to that, okay? And we're going to close out with a song for my son. God bless you. God bless America.
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you. I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. Never stop, never stop working. Never stop, never stop working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Never stop, never stop working. Never stop, never stop working. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in